Welcome back to the channel again, friends. Making a video today about fear. We all have our fears. Fears can cripple us. It can be really dangerous to have certain fears. However, there are fears that we should have. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about a fear you should definitely have, in my opinion. So like I said, there are things you should fear. For example, deep water. I'm pretty afraid of deep water. We don't know what's down there. Sharks. I mean, obviously you could drown. All sorts of creatures. Waves come through and you get lost. Like, deep water, to me, is frightening. And I think it's good to fear it so that you kind of are a little precautious if you're around deep water. Bears, especially grizzly bears. Maybe not as much black bears. I've been around black bears, and I have a story about that I'll tell in the future, but black bears have hurt only a handful of people in the last few decades. They're pretty social, and I mean, maybe don't go try to make friends with black bears, but black bears actually aren't that dangerous when you look at the data. But grizzly bears, brown bears, yeah, that's a different beast. You should probably be afraid of those because those things are terrifying. Quicksand, very scary. Imagine sinking into a pit of sand. Oh my God. All right, sand, quicksand, terrifying. Regular sand, cool. Beaches are awesome, but quicksand, no, I'm afraid of quicksand. That sounds horrible. But there's another thing that I think everybody should be afraid of. And I'm going to kind of paint a picture here to illustrate this fear. So let's imagine you're 90 years old and you're lying on your deathbed and you haven't really done much over those 90 years. Maybe you didn't have kids. Maybe you didn't pursue the business or the job or career that you wanted. Maybe you didn't do the traveling that you wanted. You didn't take care of your body the way that you wanted. You wanted to meet more people, see more places, do more things. But you just didn't do that. And now you're laying on your deathbed thinking about all the things you didn't do. And this heavy weight of regret starts to sink in. And there's nothing you can really do about it because you're on your deathbed. And let's say there's no cure for whatever you have, or you're just aging out and you're not going to become a cyborg or something like this. You're approaching the end. Like, your time is running out. And there's nothing you can do about the life you didn't live. And so I think that this is something to fear. Fearing being on your deathbed, not having done the things that in your soul, in your heart, you had always wanted to kind of do. Maybe you wanted to go to Germany and go to Oktoberfest. I mean, I want to do that. I got to do that before I die. Maybe you wanted to go see the Grand Canyon, or you wanted to skydive, or you wanted to get married and have kids, or you wanted to start a certain business. Whatever it was, you just didn't do it. And I call this the fear of the unlived life. All those things, that's the unlived life that you didn't live. You didn't step out and do those things. For me, it's this part of it is this channel. I had said in a previous video, I thought for 5 years about making this channel. But it wasn't until recently where I decided, screw it, I'm going to make it exist. I'm going to be a fool. I'm going to live that life. I'm not going to sit on my deathbed and be like, I could have started that channel when I was younger. I had all these ideas I wanted to talk about. Could have made a bunch of friends, but didn't. Oh, well, no. Screw that. And so part of this was motivated a month or two ago, maybe a month ago. I saw a quote that was attributed to Carl Jung, and I couldn't find the source material, so I think it's maybe someone else wrote it and attributed it to Carl Jung, but Carl Jung is a famous Swiss psychologist, a master intellect. But I'm going to share this quote that gets attributed to him, but I don't know that he actually said it. Anyways, this is going to hammer home kind of what I'm saying. The world is full of people suffering from the effects of their own unlived life. They become bitter, critical, or rigid, not because the world is cruel to them, but because they have betrayed their own inner possibilities. The artist who never makes art becomes cynical about those who do. The lover who never risks loving mocks romance. The thinker who never commits to a philosophy sneers at belief itself. And yet, all of them suffer because deep down, they know the life they mock is the life they were meant to live. The world is full of people suffering from the effects of their own unlived life. And I read that and I was just like, wow, I gotta take some action, man. I gotta start living that unlived life. I can't just sit around and let life pass me by. It's like, I can't remember what movie it was where the kid had the tattoo, no regrets, and it was like misspelled, kind of goofy. But you want to live with no regrets. Maybe don't get that tattoo, but you want to live with no regrets. You don't want to be on your deathbed and having these big things that you wish you would have done haunt you at the end. I'm terrified of that. And I think going along with bears, quicksand, deep water, fear of the unlived life is something that we should all be afraid of. So live your life, man. Don't hurt people. Put out positive vibes, but do what you got to do and live that life. So I think that's it for this one. Godspeed on all your future's endeavors, man.